Carol Lightfoot. Here. Len Hickey.
Here.
Aiden Matt. Ellie Bundy. Martin Charlotte. Mike Wilson.
I'm here.
James Gilsey.
Here.
Martin, can you lead us in prayer this morning, please?
Hello? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, really? Huh? Oh, my God. Yeah, every time I go up to Mission and they put a filling in it, it falls out. I had the same filling fall out 3 times, and then the upper one that just fell out 2 times. So I don't know what's going on with the. Okay, that sounds good. All right, thank you. You bet. Bye. She said that they're booked out so far. They don't know if we can get me in. They're booked out so far. They don't know if we can get me in. The mic is on. Gigi. What?
I could barely hear you. I could hear Bing, but I couldn't hear anybody else. Okay, now I can hear you, Martin.
Anita? Donna, on the last page 6 of 6, she might capitalize the restrictee covenant, and it should be on the Dixon Post and Pole Yard. Also, Charmel says covenant is spelled incorrectly.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I can barely hear you.
You say something?
I can barely hear you.
Okay, well, at least we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear Lynn. Everybody else is...
Test. Do you hear Charmel's test?
Now I can hear you, yes.
Testing.
I can hear Shelley.
I could hear you.
For me, Donna, this is Anita.
Okay, I can hear you now. Can you repeat the corrections, please?
Mine was on page 2. It was the spelling of Colstrip, the town. Charmel?
Thank you. I had one, Donna, on page 5. I did not leave the meeting right after lunch. I rather left after the break during Rick and Greg and Lisa's executive session with us. Thank you.
Anita?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mine was on page 6 of 6, and it had to do with the approval of the restricted covenant letter for the Flathead Post and Pole in Dixon Agency. And the spelling was wrong for covenant.
Okay.
Motion by Sharma to approve the minutes with corrections. Second by Anita. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimous. We have an agenda for today. Are there any additions, changes, walk-ins? No walk-ins.
Yeah, I had one issue I wanted to speak with council about.
Okay, Lynn. Open or executive?
Open.
Okay. Carol? Martin?
2 issues for open. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'd make the motion to approve the November 4th agenda with additions.
Okay, motion by Anita.
I'll second it, Madam Chair.
Second by Bing. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Since Melinda's here, we'll go with her first, and then we'll do the council items before the NRD donation. Melinda?
This morning, I'm
Melinda's
here.
info starts on page 2 in the packet.
This morning, I'm here for to ask for approval of a project-specific agreement between CSNKT and the Montana Department of Transportation for the construction of ADA compliant sidewalk that's going to be starting at the Renan Middle School, and then it's going to stretch to the existing walking path that's on Round Butte Road. The project's going to be let on January 20th, 2022, and the construction will probably begin in probably the spring or summer of this coming year. There is a map on page 6 that shows the where the walking path is going to be going, and it's going to be going there on the same side of the road as it is as the existing path on the north side of Round Butte Road.
Any questions for Melinda? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the project-specific agreement between the tribes and MDOT. Motion by Anita. Second by Charmel. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning.
So his information starts on page 7 in the packet. If you want to go ahead with your request.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair and Tribal Council. So the Tribal Fisheries Program was approached by Jeff Nelson of the American Legion requesting a donation of fish for a fish fry for a charitable event, primarily addressing, at least initially, a veterans group. And the fisheries program is happy to do this, but we wanted to be sure council was aware of it and ideally approved it before we made the donation. And Jeff also has intent to do additional charitable events in the future where he would like to have fish and conduct fish fries. And part of the background is that it seems during COVID, we have had a change in the supply of materials to food banks, and they haven't had much demand for our fish. Typically, when we approach them, their freezers are full and they're not that interested in our donations. So we have generated more of that product than we normally have, and therefore there wouldn't be any immediate cost to the program or to the food bank deliveries by doing this. So that's the background, and I think Jeff is on Zoom as well, and he could explain what his exact intentions are better than I can.
We don't see him on Zoom. I was just wondering if he's with the American Legion because it just said he was working with them. Jen, is he in the waiting room? No? Okay. Are there any questions from council? Not, I would entertain a motion to approve the donation to Jeff Nelson and the American Legion.
Motion, Madam Chair.
Okay, motion by Bing, second by Martin. Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? I'm sorry, Carol, I didn't get your vote. 4? Okay, motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you very much.
And you said this was going to be happening on Veterans Day.
Well, he approached us a couple of months ago. I think his intent at the time was to do it this Veterans Day. At the moment, I don't know what the upcoming event is that he would like to conduct. So sorry, I don't have that information.
Okay, well, when you do, if you could just email us so we can get it out maybe on our app so that
Okay.
people know.
Sure, we can do that. I guess I should also ask, so he has other events in mind. Should we come back to council for those other events, or are you in favor of continuing this?
Thoughts from council?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Bing.
be in support of it. You know, I belong to the American Legion too, so I'd be in support of it.
Mike?
I too would support it as long as all of his other bases are covered.
Charmel?
Is your question just about the American Legion, or are you asking us if we would support donations to other groups who are requesting fish?
It's specific to Jeff Nelson and the American Legion. I think if we got additional requests, we would certainly come back to council for approval on those.
Okay, thank you. I do support as well.
Okay, it looks like we have a consensus.
All right, thank you again.
Thank you, Barry.
You're welcome.
Lynn, did you want to go ahead with your item?
Yeah, thank you, Shelley. I'll just be very brief here. So I've been approached by a tribal member employee, and this is an issue that we discussed here a few weeks ago, and I couldn't recollect what council's response was, but it was in regards to tribal member employees that are currently on contract, and what we were going to do if we were going to revert these employees to full-time. And I know at one time we discussed that it was a department head's decision based on their budget. But he asked me to bring this issue forward to council because many of these employees that are on year-to-year contracts don't feel very secure with their jobs. And so I just let him know that I would bring this issue forward and see what we need to do to identify those that are those tribal member employees and what we need to do to get them on contract. So that was that was the issue that I wanted to discuss with council this morning, and what was our consensus on how we were going to address that.
Well, as I recall, it was to leave it to the department heads. That's what they're responsible for, is the management of their department. So, it's up to them to work with personnel. Carol, did you want to add your item?
Yeah, Madam Chair. And on that issue, I believe it's being worked on, Len. So,
okay.
And then my issue is an individual was coming from Tacoma, Washington for her mom's funeral. And she didn't have the money to come. And I told her to find the way to pay for her travel over, and we'll see what we could do on the way back. And so I talked to the department head, and she said it isn't covered by policy because she's off the reservation. And I don't know if there's any money in the burial fund. I didn't check that, but I want to make sure that there is funds for her to travel home on. We've helped others, and I just don't understand why we wouldn't try to help her get home. I don't know when she's leaving. The funeral's actually tomorrow.
Okay. So in the past, we've worked with Rick to find air miles or train miles or whatever.
She drove. She's driving.
Well, I'd work through Rick and find out what the what he's done in the past as far as the availability of funds, which account he can use it from, if that's something council's in favor of.
Well, wouldn't we just say dire need to cover it? I mean, I think, Madam Chair.
Pardon?
I would like to see dire need cover these things. And so I would like to have maybe bring up the issue back to the policy review board and just take another look at it, because there was another issue that also came up along with this is somebody was trying to travel to Spokane to work, and they needed some funds, and it's not covered under that policy either to assist in any way. So I was hoping we could discuss a couple of those issues in the policy review board.
Okay, we can bring it up to Jamie to discuss at the next policy meeting.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
When is that, next week, or is that every week?
Do you have it on the calendar, Jen?
Madam Chair, is that I don't know if Mr. Cody was ever paid for that issue with the crane payment. I texted him this morning because I asked him, when you get the check, text me so I know it's completed. and I still haven't heard from him. So I don't even know if he's received it yet to this day. And I thought it was approved quite a while ago.
Go ahead, Rick.
Thanks, Madam Chair. It should have gone out at the latest last week.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's paid by check or direct deposit, but I'll follow up with accounting today to make sure it got issued, but it was processed last week.
Madam Chair, Rick, do you want to check with Irma to see if there was any money left in the burial fund? I just don't know on the Bichette.
Yeah, I will.
Travel.
Was that it, Carol? Okay, Martin.
Thank you. A council day, so I will do a brief-ish update. I don't know if the healthcare people are feeling the fatigue or they're just so overwhelmed that they're not posting numbers daily anymore. So I put up Montana at a glance as of 11/3, which would have been yesterday. So those numbers are what they are. I hope that people are safe out there, and if so, choose to take a vaccine. That would be great. Maybe appreciated by all the healthcare workers that I'm sure are exhausted. All the essential workers, you know, that don't have leave, that are part-time and, you know, work at places that, you know, they may not have healthcare coverage and things like that. So, you know, let's assist them, you know, try to keep our numbers going down, flatten the curve, you know, let's do all the things that we knew what to do a year and a half ago, all the things that worked because our numbers were so low. So let's do our diligence. Let's do what we can to actually help this. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin. Did you have, I thought you said you had 2 items?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. I just wanted to give an update on the events in August. There was an investigation started. We are kind of in the middle of that. That is slated to be wrapped up the end of this month. And so people have been asking, so I thought I'd provide an update. So again, we decided to do an outside entity to look at the allegations, and that's where we're at. So open to questions if you guys got them. Thank you.
I've had questions from tribal members on what was the cost of that contract.
Thanks, Madam Chair. It was written to not exceed $5,000, and I don't know if it is close to that, but it's an hourly rate not to exceed $5,000.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead, Len.
Yes, Martin. Who was the contractor?
I'm going to butcher her last name. Pigalari. I'm horrible with phonics, but that's her name.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I said her name. The reason why I knew it because it came up on my phone when she called me. And I asked her, I said, well, how did I know, how did your number come up on my phone and your name? And she said she did a previous investigation on, was it the Ron? Remember the previous investigation, she did that one also. That you guys conducted on Ron, I believe. I don't remember.
Okay. So that's all the council items.
Shelley, I just want to do a follow up on the issue that I brought up. I would like to ask personnel to provide council a number of tribal member employees that are currently under contract, and to see if they coincide with those positions on the organizational chart. So what I'm trying to say here is if these positions are within the organizational chart and they're funded every year, I need to know why they're not on full-time status. Thank you.
I can make that request through the Director of Administrative Services, and I'll copy council on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. We have S&K Technologies. Are they in the waiting room? We are a bit early. No? You guys want to take a quick break? They're scheduled for 9:50. Right. And it will be an executive, so. I think pretty much everything's an executive this morning from here on out, except I don't know about tribal court. Okay. So we'll go on break and then we'll go in executive for the rest of the morning. So thanks to everyone tuning in to the live stream.